Say what? Funky NASA. You got to be jazzing.
Well, we're back, and just before the break, we were talking about the commissioning service, which was a beautiful service. The message was brought by a very dynamic preacher,
Right.
Reverend Sabrina Pinder.
Right.
She is the president of the Women's Convention of the Bahamas National Baptist Missionary Educational Convention, and it was fantastic, so inspirational and motivational, and everybody there left that service charged to go out there and just take this problem by the throat and just squeeze it into submission. We're pleased to announce that the vice president to Nurse Miller Ferguson is Mrs. Muriel Lightbourne.
Right.
And the secretary is Deaconess Jackie Dorset. The treasurer is Ms. Deborah Gibson, and the chaplain is Mrs. Betty Sanders. Those are the officers that are charged with the responsibility of assisting this new organization to find its feet and to establish itself as a viable contributor in the fight against crime. And hopefully other communities, as Nurse Ferguson said, would see the value of having this kind of organization in their communities, and that we can assist them in getting established, because it is painful sometimes to see the suffering of the women. You go around the courts, and as the bus is pulling off for the Fox Hill prison, the women, some of them running behind the bus. Johnny, I love you, Johnny. Johnny, I'm coming to see you on Sunday. Women. You go to the prison on Sunday visiting period, and you see lines of women waiting, carrying foods, sometimes having to witness the food being dug into by the security people, obviously in a check for contraband. And sometimes you feel sorry for them. And who is the last to leave the cemetery? Usually women.
Yes.
Whether it's a mother, a sister, a wife, a daughter. And this is powerful because we have been seeing a level of criminality and a level of coldness by some of these young people perpetrating these crimes that leads you to question whether they love anyone or have compassion for anybody. Whether they have little love, whatever little they have is for a woman in their life for the most part. Whether it's the mother, the grandmother, sister, daughter. And these are the people that we are calling upon to reach out now and take control to the extent they're able of this situation by using their influence. And so we are very excited about what's going on. The chapter is now establishing regular meeting dates and assignments to the various members while they continue to grow. So if you live or work in Baintown, and if you are tired of the level of crime and violence and even the fear of crime in our community, please contact Nurse Larry Miller Ferguson. Everyone in Baintown knows her because they are a very large family, one of the pillars of the Baintown community for many, many years. And you know where to find her. You know through Ferguson Street, that's the homestead. Go there, contact her, tell her you're interested, you'd like to be a part of it. Or you can contact us upstairs, the church, and let us know, and we will enlist you. One of the conditions of enlistment or participation is the woman must make a covenant that they themselves will not engage in criminal activities, and to the extent that they're able, they will try to dissuade all those around them, children, neighbors, friends, relatives, from engaging in criminal activity. In other words, they will be a force for positiveness, non-violence. And it's going to be amazing how this is going to mushroom and become very important in our community. And so we're delighted, Ms. Ferguson, that you, although you're very busy, you are wearing a number of hats, but you have decided to at least get this launched. And we'll see how it works out. We have very, very high hopes for it. And we should like to thank Her Excellency Dame Margaret Pinlan, the Governor General, for receiving the women and for encouraging them. And we left that meeting with her highly motivated to go out and just apply all of the influence that we have. Any further comments on the Women Against Crime aspect of our program?
What we'd like to say to everyone, crime is everybody's business.
Yes.
You know, we have to get to the point where we can walk through our communities like we used to. We are not in fear all the time. You know, every time we look outside, we're afraid something is going to happen. It was not always that way. We were able to walk about, you know, without fear. We'd like to get back to that point where we can walk about without fear. And we have to make the first step.
Well, that is excellent. And we ask those of you who, as they say, know the virtue of prayer, to pray for us. Pray for these women who have boldly taken a position that they cannot, they will not stand by idly while the society is just shredded by crime and violence. And so they need your prayers, your encouragement, and any other form of support that you are able to give them. You'll be hearing a lot about them because they're just getting their promotional program together, and we encourage you to be there for them.
And in the near future, residents, you will see members of the committee. You will see us walking the streets, knocking on your doors, just to let you know who we are and to enlist your support.
Well, that's wonderful. We've already done some of that in your other capacity.
Right.
Because it was late last year when we discovered that the good nurse had retired from the Ministry of Health after, well, 43 years. Let me say she started when she was about 6 or 7, but she spent, what, 43 years, right? About. And she had retired, and so we invited her to accept the position of Director of Community Health. And I need to expand by saying that in the community, we have established various, you want to call them departments, committees, one for education, one for health, one for agriculture, one for sports and that kind of thing. And with Nurse Ferguson being so eminently qualified, we decided to invite her to accept the Director of Community Health. Give us an insight into your background in community health.
Okay, like I said before, I'm a registered nurse. I've worked in all areas of the health field, Princess Margaret, but more than anything else, I've worked in the Department of Public Health. I'm working at the Department of Public Health in Compass Family Island, and New Providence clinics and programs. Most recently, for the last 8 to 9 years, I worked with sexually transmitted infections. And that had to do with mainly education. So I've done a lot of preventive and educational aspects of nursing.
And you got off to a very, very quick start because you were appointed in November of last year. And in early December, you and your team did an assessment, a little walk around, and you had quite a number of the youngsters there to teach them about being safe, particularly in that very vulnerable period of Christmas. You know, a lot of activities, a lot of movement, a lot of activity, and so you held a meeting with the youngsters, and you really work with them to try to assist them in understanding how to have a safe and happy and healthy holiday season. That was very good. And that was just about a month or less after your appointment. So that gave us a very clear sign that you're going to be dynamic.
I'll do my best.
Good. Among other things that you've done walkabouts. I remember following the scabies epidemic
Right.
in February of this year. You went around with the team and did some work trying to educate parents on the contributing factors to the disease and how they can work around it. You want to tell us a little bit about that?
Okay, we know that scabies was putting everybody in fear. The schools, the media, everybody talking about scabies. So we decided we'd just as soon go around and talk about prevention. Informing persons what scabies was all about and telling them that it was not anything that was life-threatening, and also how to prevent scabies. And in the event there was a person or an outbreak in a family, how to go about getting them treated and not ostracizing persons because a person has scabies. And that was what was happening.
Yes.
So we tried to educate them and then talk prevention.
Yes, and that was tremendous. It's little things like that. Working with the youngsters primarily, and also their parents, it contributed greatly to their greater awareness of how to deal with some of the things that were confronting them. Of course, we have the counseling center, which yourself being a trained nurse and having been active in a lot of areas, particularly in this communicative disease area, sexually transmitted diseases, we want to use that counseling center. So we're going to take another quick break, and when we come back, we're going to put out an invitation for residents to utilize that center. Just contact us, and you and others will be there ready to provide them with all of the information that they need. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Say what?